Now I gotta be careful with this video. On the special topic today, we're gonna be talking about Saucy Postcards, a risque type comic postcard that kind of gets close to the edge, so I had to be careful on what I show on the video. But we'll get into the special topic in a minute. I sold 14 cards on eBay, 0 cards on Etsy, and 0 cards on HIP. So I'll go through those 14 cards. One guy bought 3 of those photos of the ships, so I don't think I'm going to be making top rated seller anytime soon. If you've seen my other video on losing that because I shipped those with a stamp and an envelope. Then I have a poll. We'll get into the poll that I sent out on Saturdays. This one is, have you ever canceled a sale because you could not find a postcard? And then I got some viewer comments to go over. But let me go through a few of these cards that sold. I'll sprinkle them throughout the video. As always, down in the bottom, along the bottom of your screen, there's timestamps. You can jump around the video all you want, watch some of it, come back later and watch the rest. But don't forget to check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel so you get notifications when we put up new videos. But the first card that sold on eBay, is a white border card, Methodist Episcopal Church, LaPorte, Indiana. Not far from me. Right there. Not a bad looking card. Posted in 1937. It's a white border card. It's got a little glisten to it. It's not a linen, but it's got the white border and it falls right in that era. That sold between $4 and $5. Next one is a cheese factory. I remember listing this card years ago. I was wondering what the heck that was. But this was another card that came out of a box. I think it's box number 2 out of like 100 boxes here. So this was listed a long time ago. But that's cheese aging on the shelves. Now I just threw the cheese, but that's cheese right there. It's just a chrome card sold between $4 and $5. Next one is one of the naval ships. This is a Coast Guard cutter, Tanny, WHEC 17. Coast Guard ships are just absolutely cool. There's icebreakers and I got a whole bunch of different ones, but it's a unique service and appreciate everything they do. But look at that ship. I mean, that thing's just ready to go on there. But that's sold between $4 and $5. Now, I don't sell a lot of the used Coast Guard, but they do come in, and they'll come in batches. Now, the next card I sold on eBay is one of my favorites. I like these cards, and they sell really good. Is the airplanes, the Navy fighter jets. These are the Tomcats, the F-14B Tomcat. One going to the side, one right there. Now this is bigger than a Continental. This is not a 5x7, but it won't fit in a Continental sleeve. So I'll put it in a 5x7, fold it over, tape it, and it will fit in one of these envelopes. So that makes it easy for the eBay standard envelope. But this gentleman bought the F-14B Tomcat. But look at that. That's just cool. And let me do 2 more cards, and then we'll get into Saucy Postcards. Man, I had to be careful. This is Greenwich Village Outdoor Art Show in New York. Just a regular card, chrome card. You can see it glisten in the light. But that's what that is. Sold between $4 and $5. 1963, I think it says it was posted on there. And the last one before I get into Saucy. Now everybody, all at once, it's a kitty. Cat sell. Pet sell, dog sell. Just make sure you get it in the titles. This was a kitty with yarn, and it says all balled up. Right there is the name of the card. But it's just a kitty. $4 to $5. Saucy Postcards. But what do I mean by Saucy Postcard? Let me put that right down here. Saucy Postcard, an English term for a type of risque card that contain no nudity. Now this is a term definition I found, and that point right there says contain no nudity. A lot of the cards that I do see from top up, there is nudity. So it depends on what the English say is nudity. But an English term for the type of risque card that contain no nudity, but provides overtly sexual innuendos in illustrated comic form starting in the 1930s. Kind of a mouthful there with some words. But these saucy postcards are some kind, called Seaside, Saucy Seaside postcards. They're most often found at seaside resorts and are also known as Saucy Seaside cards. So back in the day, they would sell them along the seaside resorts, so they kind of picked up that nickname, Saucy Seaside Postcard. So if you hear that, that's the crossover of postcard. It's the same thing. At the peak of their popularity, their sales reached 16 million postcards a year. That's 16 million a year at the peak, is what they estimate. The end of their production was mostly due to the Obscene Publications Act and a conviction of one artist in 1954. Now I'm just providing you the highlights, but if you want to read more about that act and stuff, but one of the artists was actually convicted of crime or something against this act, and it kind of scared everybody else, so they stopped making these cards or declined doing them, or pulled back from the risque. But the Obscene Publications Act was pretty important. Then they came back around the 1960s, 1970s, but due to public climate, they started to decline again on there. So the 60s and 70s were a little looser, but I don't think they'll fly today too well. Now, some of the original ones are very collectible. A company named Banforce in England is one of the well-known publishers of these Saucy Seaside postcards, or Saucy postcards. Banforce in-house artists created sausage postcards using illustrations. These caricatures made these jokes more palatable to the public, so they softened it up a little bit. But let's take a look at some of the Banforce prices. So remember, when you see Banforce and it's a Saucy postcard, here's the first ones. So there's one there coming from United Kingdom. It sold for $200 on an auction. And then here's another one sold for like $200 at an auction. And then there's another one, $192 at an auction. So it looks like these do pretty well in auctions on there. And then here's 368 old Saucy Seaside postcards. This is like a lot of $212 it went for. 35 bids and $38 to ship it. So, $230, $240 for those cards, a little over $1 a card on there. So Banforce is something you want to look for on there, but be careful when you post them with the nudity and stuff. It's your risk. Now, I got a couple of them here, and I was very careful on picking them out. They're just basically funny ones. They're not nudity or anything like that. But here's a type of a Saucy postcard. This guy's sleeping and he's dreaming and he has to make decisions. Which girl, which girl, which girl. So that's kind of a softened type of a Saucy postcard on there. And then the next one is two guys in a pool or on a lake, and there's three women in bathing suits. And the saying is, things look in good shape here. So they kind of Google at these women, but that's like a softened Saucy postcard. Now this one I really wouldn't say, I don't know if it's Saucy postcard, but I got it in a lot, and I remember having it, so I found it. And this one is in my little collection I have. I have a lot of people ask me if I have a postcard collection. Most of them you're seeing here is novelty. I like novelty cards. I do have some local ones, but mostly the ones you're seeing on the videos is what I keep. But this one was kind of funny. When you're a kid and you had to go to the bathroom outside and it was cold and snowy, you always tried to write your name in the snow. And this little guy was standing there writing Merry Christmas in the snow while he's going to the bathroom, and says, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I have enough left. So he wrote Merry Christmas, but he doesn't know if he has enough left to do Happy New Year's. So this is a Ray's Roadside Resort. It's not really a postcard. It doesn't have the postcard back, but you could probably, it's got 2-ply on it. I don't, yeah, it looks like it didn't lose the back. But I just thought I would show this card because it was kind of funny. Brings back some memories. That's the Banforce, and those are the ones I have. So Banforce, make sure you check on those. Now let's go out and look at some other ones that are out on eBay. The sold high, sold low, list high, list low. Now some of these are close to the edge on there, but they are out there. And when you look at postcards, you will see that type of stuff pop up. But the sold high here, you know, you see that these cards here, $7.99, $7.99, $3. And two of them are buy it now, one's an auction. So they're not really going for top dollars like the Bamfords, those other ones did. But when you look at the sold low, they $1.50, $3, $2.50. So the high and the low, there's kind of staying between $5 and $10, $5 and $8 for these types of cards that I see on the solds. Now the Bamfords, if you get some special older ones and you do your research, you can do that. Now there is books out there on Saucy Postcards, and you can find them on Amazon, eBay, or wherever. But just to warn you, when you open those books up, they're going to have some pictures in there that almost look like a Playboy. But I actually, what I did is I went through the book and I tagged one of the pages. But that's what it looks like. It shows you the postcard. Now these are all black and white. They're color postcards. But in the book, it'll tell you a little bit about the postcards on there. And this is a Seaside, Saucy Seaside Postcards is what the name of it is. There is a jacket that goes on here, but it didn't come with the jacket on there. But it's actually made, this one is published by, it's called Saucy Seaside Postcards by Alan Wykes. There's a whole series of these for him. Get these pretty cheap. This one's kind of beat up. I think I paid $4 for it at a flea market or something like that. But there are some really risque photos inside there. So you want to look for that if you want to add it to your collection of reference material. Now let's look at the listing. Now a lot of people list postcards higher because they think they're worth a lot. Here's the highs: $13.20, $15.73, and you already noticed they're taking best offers or asking best, or they're doing a discount already because they went high and they're trying to get a good dollar for it. And there's 11 postcards, humorous, sausage, risque postcards for $13. So that's less than $1 a card. So people need to do the research and really see what they want, but sometimes they might get it. So be careful when you're comping on the cards. And then let's look at the listed low. And these are risque ones. One's something about a bra with fishing. Another one's with friends, and the little black and white one. Those are all going for $3.70 shipping. I would say that's probably more in the realm of the average sausage postcard. But still, you got the extreme of people putting out there. And I'm not the postcard pricing police. I just look at this stuff and I kind of throw out the highs and lows and look for the average and what I need for it. But that's sausage postcards. Saucy Postcards. I keep saying sausage. Saucy Seaside Postcards or Saucy Postcards. Be careful when you're listing them. If you want to ride the edge, you can. Look for the Bamfords. You know, check out these reference manuals. And just go out and type in Saucy Postcards on eBay, and you'll be amazed what you see out there. Saucy Postcards. Who knew? Now let me finish up these eBay cards that I sold. I only sold 14 of them, and a lot of them, I had a good majority were these Navy ships photos. This gentleman bought 3 of the Midway photos. These are like 3.5 by 5, 3.5 by 6 photos. That's the Midway. This one's from 1950s Midway. My older brother was actually on the Midway during the Vietnam evacuation on there. And then 1978 is another picture. So he bought 3 of those for $8.55 a piece. So it's a $25 order. Next gentleman bought Terran. This was a photo I just listed yesterday, and this is like a 3.5 by 4. And it didn't really have the name on the back except for someone wrote it right up there. There would need no way I would know what that is. But I put it out there and I just wrote Terran. I went out and tried to find the number of the ship. I don't think yeah, it was right here. And someone wrote it on the side there, APH-1. And someone was on that ship probably, and this is a photo. I don't know what year it is. Not a lot of information, but it did sell for $8.55. All the photos sell for $8.55. Now, some people said I should sell those for a little bit more. But I did some experiments before. I had them higher. I had them up to the $19.50, $20. I threw a bunch of them out on auction. Didn't get any bites at all. Because the auction sometimes will give you the market value, what people will pay. And right now I got 2 of them out there. That got less than 1 day left on a 7-day auction, and I put them up for $4.55 just to see what they do. No bites. So once I hit $8.55, which is under $10 with tax and everything, I saw a lot of them, and I probably have 1,000, 1,500 of these. So I need to go through them. They're not postcards or photos, and I'm not really into photos, but since I got them, I put them up. Next one sold was WOW, the W-O-W building, the WOW building in Omaha, Nebraska. Just a linen card, and it says WOW. I don't know what WOW means. It didn't have it on the back, but that's a linen card. Can't really feel the waffling texture, but I can see it on this one. Next one is Golden Gate Park, San Francisco. Just a chrome card. Probably, I don't know, the way they're dressed, maybe 70s, 60s. Chrome card. Golden Gate Park. $4.55. And the next one, this one came out of box 1. This is one of the first 25 cards I ever listed. But this is Maine. Just a chrome card with Maine on the front. And actually, this might not even be in Maine. They might have just printed this. You'll see that a lot of times in postcards. They just use the same generic saying, and they just stuck Maine on there. They'll put Vermont on there. You never know. And this is Curtis Island Light, Camden, Maine. So maybe it is. Maybe it is because there's a light there. So it does have a feature on there. But you'll see some of these generic views that are just not the same place. But that's 14 cards that I sold. On there, about $70, $80, I think, with the photos, maybe $100 overnight. Polls every Saturday morning, Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. I send out one of these polls in the community tab, just with some questions about postcards, just to get the pulse of the viewers and see what people are doing, so I know who I'm talking to and getting the right information out there. And this poll went out, and I got 53 people to respond. Now remember, when you respond to the poll, I don't know who you are. It's all anonymous. They don't give me that information. But if you do put a comment in, then I can see the username on there. But when they select yes or no, I don't know who that is. This poll was, have you ever had to cancel a sale because you could not find a postcard? 28% said yes, 70% said no. And I'm so glad of that, because that is the worst thing when you can't find something. And you have to tell the customer, you have to grovel, stuff like that. And 28% yes. Most of the time it will happen. You misplaced it, you sold it, something just happens. You know, be humble about it when it happens. Don't get down and say it's over with. It happens to everybody. I've had other sellers call me and say, hey, you got this Star Wars figure, can you ship it out for me? And I'll say, yeah, I'll take care of it. Where do you want it to go? A lot of times those are drop shippers too, when they tell you they don't want an invoice or a packing slip inside. They're basically drop shipping your listing. I don't get too many of that anymore on there. But sometimes if you can't find a card, you might be able to find another one on eBay and buy it and send it out if they really want it. There's different avenues, you know, think out of the box on it, but sometimes you just got to tell the customer, I just don't have it. Now, I've had some cards over the last few months didn't make it in the mail to customers. I had one guy that bought 2 of the naval ship prints, and he just never got them. They just never made it. And the tracking was eBay standard envelope, and it just got stuck. Couldn't push it through. But I told him, I said, instead of refunding, I have some more of these cards. I got a lot of these. Some of these cards I have a lot of. And I said, hey, I'll send you 2 more. Is that okay? Let's verify your address. And I sent him 2 more cards. I didn't have to refund. And I have them. So I sent those. So if you have a duplicate of one of them, check your stores and you can do that. But some of the comments that came in on this poll, one of them was, haha, yes, unfortunately it stinks, but I lose inventory sometimes. And this other one was kind of different. This viewer said, I canceled the card that had whiskey barrels on it. $7.99 free shipping it sold for. The guy messaged me thinking he bought actual whiskey barrels and wanted to know how delivery worked. So a postcard with whiskey barrels on it, and he had to cancel the sale. Didn't really that he couldn't find it. He had to cancel it because the guy thought he bought whiskey barrels. I replied like, yeah, the guy doesn't need any more hooch, it sounds like. But that's a new one. But that's the polls. Check them out every Saturday. They come out. You guys can see them out there under the community tab. When you go to the channel, you'll see the community tab, and just scroll down and you'll see all the polls out there. And I just leave them out there so they update or whatever, but it's pretty good information. Every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time, you'll see them pop out. Viewer comments. First one is from Kay, and this one popped out to me. She says, I purchased postcards everywhere I went on vacation. Now that I'm 81, I realize I can't take them with me, so she's selling them. Wow. She's 81 years old and she's out there selling her postcards out on there. You know, that's a lifetime of memories is what she's going through and stuff like that. And I congratulate her on that, collecting throughout her years, and then letting them get back out there in the world for other people to appreciate. So, okay, appreciate everything you do, and thanks for watching. Next one came from Liz. Underestimating what people will pay for a postcard if they really want that ugly postcard, laughing out loud. This is like a comment of, I think it was about higher price postcards or something. But she says she's underestimating her prices when she lists postcards. I am working on building my confidence in listing mundane cards higher after seeing Mark sell a chrome of a bathroom for that much. Yeah, I sold a museum shot of a chrome card of a museum bathroom exhibit on there for $4.55. Who would think that would sell for $4.55? A lot of people would put those what they call quarter boxes. Then she says, laughing out loud, sometimes I feel like I'm ripping people off, but a card is only worth as much as someone willing to pay for it. Yes, it's exactly right. If you list everything you like, then you're basically building a collection. You got to get everything out there and put a variety out there and see what people really like. With these videos, I've done a lot of that. When I first started selling postcards, I said, what sells? What should I put up? And I went out and I was tracking a lot of stuff. I mean, states, chromes, everything. And it was a lot of work. I ended at about, I think, 3 months. But I got to find out what people were really buying. And they liked the $4, $3, $5, $6 chrome cards were the top ones. The older cards were good that were higher priced, but they didn't sell as fast. The sell-through rate's a little lower, but you do get a lot of profit for those and a lot of dollars. But the ones that pay the bills are your $4 to $6 cards that has a memory on there. So you want to sprinkle those in, I think. That's what my recommendation. I always tell people, don't just stick with one type. You know, put a variety out there so people come out there and get some followers in there, on there. But do not feel guilty about pricing postcards. There's a cost of doing business. There's a cost of your time. There's a cost of the envelope, cost of the card you bought, the cost of the research, you know, the cost of dealing with customer returns, the cost of everything, stamps. Just like doing the YouTube videos, there's a cost of the equipment, cost of my time. You know, all of that part of it. Even though I don't get paid for the YouTube videos, they're fun to do. It's something I like to learn. And that's one thing about postcards. A lot of people say, we spend a lot of time doing postcards. I like them. It's my hobby. I'm retired. This is what I do. But I still have to pay my eBay fees. I got to pay my taxes. I got to pay my insurance. I got to pay for the new shelves. So it's not just the cost of the card. There is some intangible things, and that's knowledge. You have the knowledge to know what to put out there. That's worth something as well. Just like I have a skill in the technical field. And I have many years of knowledge, you know, of transmission and communication. That takes years for people to learn. And that's what it did for me. That's marketable. You know, I get calls all the time to go do a project or come and consult on things. And I don't do that anymore. You know, maybe one day I might have to. But right now, I don't need to do that. But I do have a skill and experience. And so the more you sell, there's cost. And to reinvest in your business, to go out and buy that other 1,000 lot of postcards, or, you know, buy better boxes, or you want a thermal printer. All that is part of pricing postcards. So don't ever feel guilty. Unless you're putting a $4 card for $100, you're not going to make any money. So we want to price them to sell on there. But, you know, price them for what you need on there. The next comment was, See the Light said, I bought a Hold to the Light postcard featuring a building on fire for $5. A Hold to the Light postcard in the wild of a building on fire for $5. He sold it on eBay auction for $173.50. Those are the deals. Especially, I think I replied, that one would probably look pretty cool, the light with the fire. But some of the cards in auctions, I'm not a big auction guy, but I've seen lately people are getting some good money in the auction, especially when you got two people going at it. But a card like that, I think that was a really slick move, See the Lights, to put that in auction. And you made a good find there. Congratulations on that. But those are what keep people going. When you find that one card in that box and you know it's worth a lot of money and you pay $5 or $3 for it, don't feel guilty. It's your experience, your knowledge. You knew that what that was worth. That's why you grabbed it for $5. A lot of people didn't know what that card is because they haven't done the research. You've done it. You have the experience. So that's, you know, by watching the videos here about the variety of cards and the different novelty things on there. And you probably knew what Hold the Lights were. But wow, $173 for one of those. Good job. And talking about Hold the Light postcards, people saying, what the heck is that? I have a video about Hold the Light postcards. They demand more money, the good ones. Now there is some that didn't make it, but check this video out here and I'll walk you through in that video what a Hold the Light postcard is and some of the history and how they make them. That's all I got for you today. I'll catch you on the next one.